Good day, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into my Sasquatch Sunday video. My name is Todd Standing, and I am the man who takes people out into the field and has me either live interact with or eyewitness Sasquatch. So today we're going to go through a bunch of different amazing pieces of Bigfoot footage, audio recordings that are going on out there on the internet that I'll do a full analysis. We'll come back with a complete top to bottom who, what, where, why, when, and how I think this footage is either authentic or inauthentic. So we're going to get into that today and much more, so stay tuned. It's going to be a fantastic show. 2025, when you sign up with my Patreon account on Patreon under Discovering Bigfoot or Todd Standing, you will be given collections of photographs. The Jane collection, like it's never been seen before, the Jake collection, videos, chronicles, and most importantly, in June, to all my Patreon followers, I'll be releasing Discovering Bigfoot Part 2. So much amazing stuff every month exclusively to my Patreon followers, so get involved. This is a change in Bigfoot, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very exciting thing. We're going to be doing boots on the ground investigation. So much to come. Stay tuned for more announcements. Get involved. Go to Todd Standing or Discovering Bigfoot on Patreon. Oftentimes I'll do an analysis and hope for some more feedback next week. That's not really going to be necessary this time because I'm very confident that I have answers to all these three different pieces of audio and video footage that I'm going to be analyzing today. But first, I want to make sure that all the Patreon supporters, the online supporters, the PayPal supporters of the Discovering Bigfoot Project work all got your Jane, what am I calling it? The Jane collection. So 6 different very fantastic photos and video stills of Jane that I sent out a couple days ago. If you didn't get that, send me an email at discoveringbigfoot@gmail.com, or if you'd like a free photograph and you're interested in getting involved with the cooperation, send me an email at discoveringbigfoot@gmail.com, or go to the website and have a look around there, see what you think. The Jane collection will be for sale independently for $39.95 on Shopify and Printify, and as well we're working on getting that up on Amazon as well, so that will be coming in the not so distant future. And next month for the Patreon followers will be the full Jake collection, the stuff I've never released before, in the highest quality, no BS, absolute amazing stuff. So thank you very much for supporting it. I also would like to say, so thanks to the Patreon supporters. So I have 3 major announcements. I talk about it on Patreon. You can go to Todd Standing or Discovering Bigfoot on Patreon. I'm going to talk about one of those announcements right now. People are asking about it, so it's coming out. In June, I will be giving access to all my Patreon and PayPal supporters to the full-length feature film Discovering Bigfoot Part 2. You'll be able to watch it and in its absolute entirety. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've been talking about that for a long time, and I've just decided that kind of sick of dealing with TV personalities or TV production companies and movie companies that don't really have any interest in Sasquatch. They're only interested in making money. So what I'm doing now with the Patreon following and the PayPal supporters is it's just about us. You know, I have people loved my Discovering Bigfoot Part 1. Part 2 is also an excellent movie. There's California Bigfoot footage in it. So pretty cool stuff. And then I'm just going to do, for my Patreon followers, I'll just do a new movie every year. We'll be able to generate enough revenue for even more than that. Backcountry deep expeditions, our own little Discovering Bigfoot television show. See, what sucks about these TV shows and the TV show personalities is if you look at these guys who had big TV shows, like let's say Discovering Bigfoot, where are they now? What are they doing to go out and facilitate or propagate the discovery process? And the answer is pretty much nothing. So every year I do dozens of expeditions, boots on the ground, out there working for this discovery process, gathering new evidence, expanding the cooperation and growing. And with the Patreon following, we're going to explode. We're going to have monthly, I'll travel around, or colleagues of mine will be doing monthly videos, but all the latest stuff coming out. Every time there's a new piece of Sasquatch footage, we'll be out there, boots on the ground, investigating it. And I think that's very exciting. That'll go on forever. That'll never stop. Once I get the 1,000 Patreon followers, which is going to happen here in 2025, I'm just going to work at it. It's going to happen. Don't take my word for it. Trust me. I'm going to make it all come together. It just has to be a little extra work, but I'm very grateful for your support. So, first piece of footage we're going to talk about today is the Sasquatch in the snow. So I was pretty excited about this initially because the location is being disclosed and there's a backstory about the Sasquatch allegedly stealing chickens and whatnot. So I was really happy with it all, and I saw some potential validity in it. So I had a good hard look at this, and there's also a gentleman who is going to be doing some investigation on it that I was really excited about, to get out there, boots on the ground. But that's not really necessary anymore, because if we look at this piece of footage, so the body in the legs, I see quite a bit of thickness, which is impressive and good. But after into the hips and up into the upper body, I don't see that width, that size of a Sasquatch. It's almost like this has that endomorphic, the hips are nearly as wide as the shoulders, which I've never seen in a Sasquatch, especially when their legs are large like this. So that was a little disheartening to me, not seeing the proportions. If it truly is going to be a Sasquatch, I need to see size proportions that are going to be non-human. And I certainly don't see that here. The legs are big, you could have a big stuffy costume. It's not clear enough for me to make a deduction on the details in the muscularity like we can with the Patterson footage. But what's really the smoking gun with this piece of footage is this shot of the head in here. So what I've always noticed with Sasquatch is, and so we can see the same with Jeff Meldrum as he's analyzed the Patterson footage, is they have enormous traps. Grover Krantz talked about it when the Sasquatch moves for that sideways shot, that the famous sideways shot, she has to kind of turn her whole body because her neck is so big. The traps are thick. I see that in the Jake photographs. I see that in the back shot I have of the Sasquatch in wintertime that I filmed in video 6. I see really enormous traps. I've seen it even in Jane. She's got a big thick neck on the backside. My eyewitness accounting with dozens and dozens of sightings that I've had with myself and expeditioners, it's always a big thick neck. And look what we see here. This is pretty much ends the conversation for this piece of footage. There's a big space here, and even though the footage is blurry, we can see it's not a blur. It's actually a mistake in the costume where the head does not fit on properly. Not only should there not be a space there, but there should actually be trap muscle there. It should be thick. So the smaller little bits of evidence, the body proportions being off, the not being enormously large, the leaning forward is appropriate for Sasquatch with the heavy body, but I'm not seeing the shoulder width or any other proportion that would make me think this is Sasquatch. And then I'm pretty much done with this footage. Even though there's a backstory, even though they gave the location, which I'm impressed with, they didn't do what I would really appreciate more than anything else, is get a person there to give a relative size comparison and look at the trackway, look at the footsteps in the ground. That would be very revealing. We don't have that. And then it's pretty much over with this. When you zoom in here, again, even though it's blurry, you can clearly see that is a headpiece that's separated oddly. There's no reason for that to be there whatsoever. Anatomically, in any Sasquatch statue would just absolutely not be there. So, and I wonder how easily it would be to fool me. I actually don't have a lot of faith in my ability to be fooled. And I'll tell you why. Look at this piece of footage right here. So everything I was looking for in that other piece of footage is in this one. It's the big barrel chest. Look at the traps that come off. The hands look decent to me. I'm not seeing anything really smoking gun until this guy literally takes the masks off. So that's actually a known mask. It's a mask you can purchase that I've seen people try to hoax me with before. But from the original perspective, with the hair on it, with the side view, with the body, and if you had blurred this up a little bit, and I wouldn't be able to see really good, muscle definition, I might have thought this was real footage. So, you never hear me, or it's rare you ever hear me like, this is really, really good footage. I think I've said that maybe 4 or 5 times. The Patterson footage is 100% real. I have absolutely no doubts whatsoever. It's authentic footage. But this one I would have been, maybe a little on the fence, would have had my doubts, but I would have been, optimistic about it, and I would have been absolutely fooled. Clearly just a guy in a suit. So the other piece of footage that I want to show and talk about today, that there is a definitive answer on, is this piece of footage where we hear this very interesting Sasquatch potential sound. Somebody's filming it, and his buddy's kind of walking over the wilderness. Huh?
I think it's time to go.
Kind of a scary, cool sound. The acting in this is pretty decent. Problem is, I had this analyzed by my, I'm not supposed to give too much information, but I have Homeland Security. I certainly can't talk about that too much, but they do the audio lie detector test. And the audio lie detector test, the voices are failing here, but what really fails and what ends this, that is absolutely not real footage in any way, shape, or form, can't be real, is in the high sound of the Sasquatch. Let me play it for you. There's a crackly sound. That's because it's a speaker. Yeah, it's a speaker. So when you take a speaker and you crank it up above its full potential, you'll get that odd vibrational sound. This is clearly 100% definitively a speaker. Knowing that, that you really got to listen for the bass rumbling in a speaker that is not authentic, a voice box or an organic being like an elk, a moose, a Sasquatch, all have a fluidity in their sound that does not crackle at lows due to the speaker crackle and crackle in the highs. And we can clearly hear that. Listen to it one more time, especially listen to that high sound, that crackly sound, that the high tweet of the speaker is being overly, the volume's too high for it. It's more than it can handle. So listen one more time. That's proof that this was is absolutely inauthentic. I'd say nice try, guys, but not really. I enjoy doing these analysis of people that are inauthentic, in that it can help us, whittle away till we get to the good stuff, because there are good videos. There are people that are doing authentic Sasquatch footage. I'm not deterred in any way by this. I feel like it's just a simple learning lesson. It helps me understand Sasquatch better. It helps me look back at the evidence that we see, that we've worked on, that we know is legitimate and authentic. Even helps show how grateful we should be for that footage, and how it lends another nail in the coffin of this is authentic, this is amazing with the patterns of footage, the similarities that we can see in authentic footage that does not exist in these fraudulent pieces of footage. So unfortunately, I expect these people to get better and better, because that costume that we saw in this one obviously was pretty impressive. As I saw with Survivor Man, when Survivor Man did an episode where he made some fake tracks and then tried to fool John Benedigo and Jeff Meldrum, he did that just to show the amount of money that would be involved in that. And fortunately for us, I think that the amount of money that it would cost to forge a costume like this, forge tracks, far outweighs the cost of the benefits of putting this stuff up online and trying to make a living off of it. It's not doesn't do very well for most of the time, anyways. Because I don't know, there's Sonny Vader, who anything that comes from him is fake, guys. He's an absolute fraud. That the mask that was used in this piece of footage that I showed you here with the barrel-chested big Sasquatch, where the guy takes off the mask, that's the same mask that Sonny Vader uses. So it's done better in this piece of footage here, but that's Sonny Vader either uses a mask or he just paints somebody's face black and then puts hair around it. And he's the one that has the hunting footage from Canada, that there's a Sasquatch smashes a tree, or there's a red tape piece of line. So I think he may actually be making a little bit of a profit from doing his hoaxing. But it is what it is. This is the way the world is today. So we just keep moving forward. Very excited about our time. Lots more announcements to come next week. New stuff to analyze next week. Hopefully some of it will be a little bit authentic. But we take our lessons, we learn, and we move forward. Thank you very much for tuning in. Much more to come on my show as live on Wednesdays. Thank you to all the supporters again. And I'll be back. More to come.